Hello, Bill here, back in action. It's been a little while. I've been to Mackinac Island and to Detroit, and this coming few days from now, I'm going to be going through Ak-Sar-Ben, which is a commercial area in Omaha, and we're going to be shooting reflections with a friend of mine. I'm not sure the order of the videos, but I think they'll all be interesting. The Mackinac Island is going to be a little bit of video and a fair amount of photography. The Detroit will probably be mostly video with a little bit of photography from the last time we were there. And then reflections from Ak-Sar-Ben. We'll see how that all works out. The three of us are headed out to Mackinac Island for a few days. And we're arriving just a little bit before their normal season starts, so we're going to have a nice, fairly quiet time. And we're really happy that we're able to take Molly with us on this trip. We'll be staying at Mission Point Resort, and they are one of the very few places that allow pets. The drive up there from where we live is right about 12 hours, so we decided to stay one night on shore and then catch the first ferry across in the morning. The ferry ride over was actually pretty nice. The boats are very quick. I think it takes around 15 minutes. And it carries quite a few people and all the luggage and your non-electric bikes. E-bikes are not allowed. And your pets can ride in carriers or on your lap. Mackinac Island is known for not having any cars or trucks. What we did find out is there are probably maybe a dozen, and they're for emergency services, fire trucks, police cars, ambulance, I think is parked out there. But everything else, all deliveries are by horse carriage or by bike. Most of the bikes are not electric. There are a few electric bikes for people who live on the island or people that do a lot of deliveries. It's really nice that there aren't any cars. You can pretty much walk anywhere as long as you make sure you don't get run over by a person on a bike, which there is a bicycle speed limit. And it's kind of fun to hear the clop of the horses as they walk up and down the street pulling the carriages and the delivery wagons. It's pretty nice not hearing car horns and trucks and loud engines and sirens all over the place. It's a real calm place. Molly really had a blast. For being there a few days early, there were actually quite a few people there, and she's definitely a people person. She had to meet everybody. She had to smell all the horses, and they really didn't care to even look at her. She's basically barely larger than one of their hooves. There's bike rentals everywhere on the island. Basically, as you walk off of the ferry and get up to the main street, there's probably at least one or two within 100 feet. Our resort rented bikes. There were multiple bike rentals up and down the main street and on some of the side streets. Definitely at both of the docks where the ferries come in. And it's really not very expensive at all. But I do need to stress again that they do not allow electric bikes to be brought to the island, and there are no electric bikes to be rented unless you, unless you are special needs. One thing that we did do is the first time in 12 or 13 years is we got on bikes ourselves. It was pretty cold, but we decided to go ahead and give it a shot. There's a ring road that goes completely around the island. It's a little over 8 miles long, and it takes probably about 40 minutes for someone like Sharon and I. However, it was cold. The wind was blowing like crazy. It was extremely foggy, and poor Molly was freezing her behind off in the basket. We have a chest carrier that we put her in occasionally, but we wanted her in the basket. And she seemed to like it until we started going a little bit faster. Then she started shivering. We had to really cover her up. We made it almost all the way around the island, and the wind coming from the east, believe it or not, was so strong that we could not go down the east side of the island. We had to turn around and come back down the west side and loop through town again. We ended up riding about 9.5 miles total, which for somebody 65 like I am, and not being on a bicycle in 12, 13 years, it was quite a lot. But we made it. I made it. The dog made it. Sharon made it. It was all fun. One thing nice about the ride around the island, which is, I think the highway name is M85, M185, is that, of course, there's no cars, but it's pretty flat, and the scenery is just beautiful. It's just beautiful up there. It's really a heavily forested island, and then there's beach, or there's kind of like a beach all the way around in the island itself. There's a couple areas that are stretches of rock, but for the most part, you can walk along the actual water line if you want to. Mackinac has a fairly large amount of older homes and older buildings that have been kept very well and restored, and some of them upgraded on the outside and the inside. But for the most part, they look very period to whenever they were built. And if you're an old house person, that's definitely a place to go see. Some of the newer houses are pushed up into the hills and back into the forests and are not directly in town, which is really nice. The Mission Point Resort Hotel is massive. I don't know how many rooms they have, but it's really, really nice and well run. When you show up with your pet, and you should call ahead and make reservations, but they put you in a specific wing where I think the rest of the pets are, but it's not noisy whatsoever. And they gave Molly a doggy bag with a frisbee, a dish, another toy, and it was just really nice. And they called her by name, which kind of surprised all of us. And what's really nice is the restaurant at the Mission Point Resort. There's an outdoor portion that's actually heated, where you can sit out and look out over the island, out over the lake, and have dinner with your pet down below you by your feet. There's a couple restaurants in town that also allow you to take your dog around to the back. They have a couple, 3 tables in the back, and we had a couple nice meals back in there by the water. Being a photographer, or thinking I'm a photographer, having fun being a photographer, what was really interesting is they had fog, heavy fog, the 2 days we were there, and it didn't break until the morning we were leaving, which was pretty funny. So we didn't know how far across the lake the other shore was. And some areas it's like 4 or 5 miles, some it's like hundreds, and to the south it seemed to be barely a mile. You couldn't see it the entire time we were there. I had a lot of fun trying to pull together shots with very little prep time, no study time. You walk and shoot, and I've been doing that for probably 20 years now, where you have maybe 30 seconds to see the shot, and another 30 seconds to just take the shot, so that you don't hold up the group. And Molly, she was definitely not into having a whole lot of patience for me taking too much time trying to get a shot. She'd be pulling on the leash, dragging me down the trail, but it was a lot of fun. I really recommend heading up there for about 2 days. I think you can do everything in 2 days, maybe 3, depends on how active you are. If you like to hike, you might want an entire full day for that. If you like to ride bikes, you could probably do that through town, around the entire island. And I think there's a couple trails you can bike. So maybe 2 days, one for biking, one for hiking, and one for just relaxing. There's a lot of water lying out there. It's really nice. It's really calm. Like I said, there's no cars, no traffic, no horns, sirens. It's just relaxing. Anyway, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown on Mackinac Island. We definitely had a lot more going on than I can punch into a few minutes here. And there's quite a bit of photography to be had, everything from street to nature. It's just a fun place to visit, a fun place to shoot. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again.